Hello friends, Bones here with another movie review. If you'll recall, the first Halloween movie I reviewed was the original Halloween from 1978. Well, 40 years later, John Carpenter returned to the franchise he started to produce a Halloween sequel that completely ignores the existence of those awful sequels he got in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, including the Rob Zombie remakes that somehow managed to be worse than the sequels. This means no running plot of Michael and Laurie being related, no convoluted supernatural plot line, and definitely no Busta Rhymes. It was time to bring Michael Myers into a new decade while restoring some of what made him a household name in horror all those years ago. So, does this movie do Michael justice enough to wipe the sequel/remake slate clean? Let's find out. The film opens with two British journalists who are doing a podcast on Michael Myers. As part of it, they go to the asylum where he's being held and try to get him to speak. Now, right away there's a problem. Yes, podcasts are a modern thing, but if you're covering a serial killer who refuses to speak, wouldn't a video be better so at least your audience can see him? They do make small cameras with decent picture and sound that you can take with you for something like this. Well, after showing Michael his old mask does nothing but rile up the patients, we get what's admittedly a pretty cool intro. It's a throwback to the original with the theme music playing over a jack-o'-lantern. But this time the jack-o'-lantern starts out rotten but slowly regenerates, indicating that the true Michael Myers is making his long-awaited comeback. The podcasters then seek out Laurie Strode, who is an old recluse living in a homemade fortress far from everything. I guess grocery store delivery makes that easier to manage in 2018. Laurie's gone all out with her home security in case Michael should ever escape. After being bribed into an interview, she tells the podcasters basically what Dr. Loomis said, that Michael is pure evil and that's all there is to him. She doesn't want to talk about him, she doesn't want to talk to him, she just wants to kill him. The film does a good job of quickly showing us the effect the first film had on Laurie for the rest of her life in this new timeline. Despite all her planning, weapons, gathering, and training, she's still feeling the post-traumatic stress which affects her relationships with her family. Yes, Laurie went on to start a family. Meet her now grown-up daughter Karen and teenage granddaughter Allison. They each have their own stories, though Karen's is much more tied to Laurie than Allison's is. But it doesn't take long for Allison's story to get on the same track after shit hits the fan. Which has to happen eventually, otherwise it's a family drama instead of a slasher flick. That being said though, this movie does have good drama in it, with Allison wanting to know her grandmother better and include her in things, while Karen still feels scarred by her childhood filled with paranoia and combat training, so she'd rather not even speak to her. The three women are forced to come together when the boogeyman returns for All Hallows Eve. A father and son stumble upon a crashed bus carrying asylum patients who are being transferred. The same bus Michael was on! Shit. When Dad goes to investigate on his own, the son calls the cops but then does the stupid thing and goes investigating on his own. I know he's got a gun and all, but still stupid to go towards the wreck by yourself when you're that young. He'd have been better off staying in the car with all the doors locked. Might have helped prevent this. No, your eyes do not deceive you. Michael is actually killing a child. It's a horrifying scene that establishes that Michael is a brutal and unpredictable force to be reckoned with. Now, I gotta warn you that I'm gonna go into some spoilers from here on out. If that's a problem, click on the time code for my final thoughts. Before long, Michael strikes again, killing a few gas station attendants to reclaim his blue jumpsuit. The unlucky podcasters happen to be there at the same time and become Michael's next victims. The dude gets the worst. Yeesh. But this is how Michael retrieves his aged mask. So yeah, the podcasters basically only exist for exposition and so Michael can get his mask back. But bloodthirsty slasher fans will like the increased body count from the original Halloween. The film does a good job with how it presents the face of Michael Myers. His real face is always out of focus and off to the side, or you're seeing him from the back of the head. It keeps Michael as this mysterious boogeyman similar to how the original did. Also, his mask looking this beat up and cracked shows how much it has been affected by time. Michael and Laurie were both fairly young adults in the first film, and 40 years since have taken their toll on every aspect of their lives. It worked for the look of the mask, and actually it makes it creepy in a different way. Well, Halloween night arrives, and as everyone hits the streets to celebrate in different ways, we're given this pretty impressive tracking shot of Michael sneaking around the neighborhood, killing two people in the process. It seems pretty random at first, but remember, this is a being of pure evil who probably just wanted to get back into killing again after being locked up for 40 years. There's even a moment that makes audiences panic when he walks up to a crying baby. He doesn't kill the baby, but because of the child murder scene earlier, it creates real suspense because he's been established as being that evil that you could picture him killing a baby. Laurie of course finds out about Michael's escape and rushes to help Karen and her husband protect themselves and get somewhere safe, but for a while they dismiss her attempts as more paranoia. Meanwhile, Allison is at the Halloween dance with her boyfriend Cameron as gender-swapped Bonnie and Clyde, because teenagers, while her friend Vicky takes on the film's babysitter role.
If I had some other kind of babysitter, she'd be reading me a story. I wouldn't be up clipping my nasty ass toenails.
Someone give that kid an Oscar. He's one of the most entertaining characters in this whole movie. The scenes between these two actually make you care about both of them. They just seem like two good-hearted young people giving each other shit. Which makes it kinda sad when Michael gets her, although she at least puts up a fight. But I don't know if this is stupid on the writer's part or the character's part. Michael catches her because while running away, her socks cause her to slip on the hardwood floor, giving Michael time to drag her back to the room and do what he tried to do to Laurie. Well, he got to kill a babysitter just because she did the dumb thing and wore socks on hardwood. Meh. Her boyfriend attempts to come to her rescue only to get killed himself off screen. Reveals like this can be creepy, but for a slasher flick, you at least want to see the kill happen, even if him losing a fight with Michael is predictable. The cop who finds him is Officer Hawkins, who is revealed to be the guy who arrested Michael back in 1978 in this continuity. He joins Laurie on her mission to hunt the Shape down, as he now feels he should have killed Michael 40 years ago when he had the chance. Aiding him with info is Dr. Loomis's successor, Dr. Sartain, who feels like a bit of a stereotype. Maybe it's the accent combined with this kind of twitchy personality. Back at the dance, Allison gets upset and runs off when she catches Cameron smooching with a tiger girl. Because boys dressed as girls are sexy? Whatever the reason, this whole scene ending in Cameron ruining Allison's phone, very mature, makes him one of the most unlikable characters in the film. It's become a welcome tradition in horror for unlikable characters to get axed, but this guy never even encounters the Shape. What the fuck? You let the unlikable character live? Really, movie? You missed an opportunity for another brilliant kill scene there. But who does get the axe is Cameron's friend Oscar, who tries to put the moves on Allison. I have to say he does get one of the more creative deaths, though. He ends up on a walled-off lawn under a motion sensor light when Michael appears, and each time the light goes off and then on again, Michael gets closer to him. It creates the illusion of him teleporting, unlike Friday the 13th Part 8 that had Jason straight up teleport for no reason. As if the stab wound wasn't enough, when Oscar tries to escape, Michael impales his mouth on one of the spikes of the gate. Ouch! Allison happens to see the impaled Oscar and his killer, prompting her to run like hell to join the rest of her family. Laurie takes Karen and her husband to her fortress while Hawkins drives Sartain and Allison into Michael. Just when the killer is finally at the cops' mercy. Betrayal! It's betrayal, I say! Now, I have mixed feelings about this twist. On one hand, it is unexpected, but on the other hand, it feels reminiscent of Joker turning Dr. Quinzel into Harley Quinn. If you can spend enough time with a crazy patient that you end up killing for them, maybe you shouldn't have been hired by that asylum in the first place. How does Michael get inside his head anyway? He doesn't talk and clearly doesn't reward Sartain for his turn to the dark side. We leave that to karma. Nothing like a good curb stomp. Allison uses Sartain's death as a chance to escape while Laurie prepares for battle. Most of the kills in this movie feel uninspired, but I feel like the best one is surprisingly enough a revealed off-screen kill. What makes this one have more impact than boyfriend pinned to the wall with no on-screen kill is that it's two dead cops with one of their heads being turned into a human jack-o'-lantern. Right after Dad finds this, he's strangled to death with wire. That's a Halloween kill! Although no good guys die during the film's climax, the climax is easily the best part of the movie as it delivers what we all came to see. Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers. We get to see how badass Laurie has become with all the years of preparing, and there's some legitimately great suspense. Despite Michael's size advantage, this fight is brutal as hell, with Laurie refusing to give up and getting some really good shots on the Shape as she finally faces her greatest fear. Allison makes it to the house, and the three Strode women come together to defeat the Shape once and for all. How? By trapping him in the basement and burning the whole damn house down! The three of them then hitch a ride with a random truck driver and Michael is finally dead. Or is he? And that was Halloween 2018. There are ways that it's not as great as the original, but it's also an entertaining slasher movie that blends all the new elements together well. The return of John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis, as well as erasing the other sequels, played well into this film's favor. Curtis put on a brilliant performance as an older, broken, but ready to fight Laurie. Sure, there are some missed opportunities and questionable writing, but the film as a whole does horror well. Its musical score is awesome, it got some cool kills, and it's worth watching just to see Laurie fight Michael in her Batcave. Definitely worth renting if not purchasing. If anyone asks you if the original Halloween had sequels, just point to this one and deny the existence of all the other ones. If you like this video, then check out these other videos on Halloween Central. And tune in next time where Joseph's gonna make some Halloween cookies. Goodbye, friends!